Let's take you live to the Information Ministry, where Energy Minister Matthew Opoku-Prempeh is briefing the press on the topic, keeping the lights on, keeping the nation moving.
Increase the footprint of renewable energies in the country. So what have we done, really? We've extended the AXA power plant tenure, the one in Tema, for another 10, 15 years to continue to supply us the fuel. We've also signed a new PPA for generation in the middle belt of the country, 350. And VRA is also working hard to reuse plants that we're not using in Kumasi to help stabilize the grid and ensure an efficiently run grid system. So both AXA and VRA are actively working in power generation in the central belt of the middle belt of the country, that is Kumasi. We are converting the KTPP plant, 200 megawatts, and a Senate plant from an open cycle to a combined cycle. And VRA is retrofitting the T3 plant. Eventually, we are getting there. Eventually. And that, you see, when you have these plants back, it makes even more sense to find out when you need to increase generation from private sector, because somebody has to pay once you sign. And if we can put all our plants that have been dormant or idle or combine it and improve the efficiency of the plants, it goes a long way to soften the prices for Ghanaians. Our share of solar has increased to 3.2, and the target is 10% by 2030. And I think we are doing a lot, and we will show very soon in that sector to head towards our target by 2030. We started an innovation in floating solar using the. Yesterday, I heard that the surface of Akosobo Dam, the surface is over 8,000 kilometers. That's what I was told. Oh, that's what I told Ghanaians. I don't know. That's what I said. Imagine. It's for also feeding, like aquaculture and fisheries. It's for tourism and it's for transport. But imagine we put solar on a sizable number of the surface. We can increase our solar footprint hugely by hybridizing our dams, because the investment we need to do in that sense, Bui, Pong, Akosobo, and even some of the Ghana water dams, if we could cover some of the top spaces with solar, it will cost less environmental degradation, so we don't have to cut trees to put these solar panels. And then we can generate even more and even more power. So Bui and VRA are both pursuing it. I do know that Bui has even signed a new contract, PPA, to put another 5 megawatts on the floating solar and another 20 around the environments of Bui. We started and deployed in off-grid communities solar wind battery pack to give these island communities and far-to-reach areas where we cannot send national grid there, these off-grid communities. I think we have done 3 in that area. And as we speak, there's a tender going for 35 more of such off-grid communities in Ghana. We want to move street lighting from LED to all-in-one solar. And we have trialed that in some parts of the country, and it's been successful. And we want to come to the situation where street lights, they are not solar. Because it's outside, in the all-in-one solar, it's got a battery pack. In fact, some of the ones we've tried, it's got a self-cleaning mechanism there, so that with diodes, we can even program it to come on in the evening, increase the luminosity or intensity when it's getting dark, and reduce it or switch itself off when nobody is around, except when the thief is coming, then it comes down. We are doing that. We have also lifted the moratorium, Energy Commission, working with them, we've lifted the moratorium that had been put on embedded generation. So for industry and for those who could generate solar within themselves and use it to feed themselves, we had put a moratorium on that, which we have lifted. And we hope and pray that it all cause a ballooning or increasing in our solar footprint. The ongoing utility-scale solar project we have, like I said, BUI is not only doing 100, BUI is tackling solar seriously because we did the amendment of the BUI power law to give them access to do more solar. So they have acquired various sites around the country to put the solar cells there. BUI, together with VRA, have put together a comprehensive package to not only deploy as much solar, maybe in the order of 2,000 megawatts going up, but also to improve the grid, because if you know Ghana very well, where we can deploy a lot of solar, that is where the grid is also poorest. So we want to combine that if we are acquiring solar, we should also improve the grid and put substations there so that we can wheel around these green molecules. Not only the 4 megawatts that is already installed, they've assigned a new one for another 5 megawatts that is coming on board with a company in UAE called Infinity. VRA, I think, has completed the phase 2 of the Kalio project, and they are even thinking about expanding it further, along working with the German government and the German system. We have got money from European Union and KfW for 22 megawatts of government goes solar, where solar is being provided to government or public facilities. I do know that my ministry is busy engaging some of the universities and secondary schools, some of the hospitals, to install these solar projects. That becomes like just embedded. If you just imagine the secondary schools we all attended, we use very, very little electricity in secondary schools because we have lights out at 10 and we wake up at 5 or 6. We don't have air conditions in secondary schools. Even our cars were bone shakers. Our cars were bone shakers. So secondary schools are the best place to put solar, because then you can generate, and not only generate, you can even export some of that solar into the system. We have also received 85 billion in a project called Scaling Up Renewable Energy Program, and we have commenced 67.8 megawatts of installed capacity to be added through the 35-minute grids I announced that we have already advertised, and 12,000 net metered solar PV and 1,450 solar home systems for off-grid homes and public institutions. The 3-minute grids I just said in the Adar East District, we receive funding from the Swiss, is ongoing. Currently, as we speak, the energy mix in Ghana, we have hydro, thermal, both IPPs and VRA and solar in that proportions that we have shown. What I can announce is that we are growing at our electricity consumption rate of about 10% per year. And the unmet demand, people who are improving, becoming more prosperous under Nana Addo-Dankwa-Akufo-Addo's government, we see it in various ways, even though people might not say it explicitly. We see it in various ways, like when you travel around the country, if you look at the number of houses that have started having satellite dishes on them, meaning they are watching DSTV. Most of them fortunately support Manchester United, so I'm very, very happy. But you see it across the country, in villages that you'll be surprised, using the electricity for productive uses, right? Everywhere. I made a visit somewhere north, and as I was sitting in my car and I was observing, even the mud houses that we had, I saw some with air conditions. The mud houses, the advantage is that it's even cooler when you live in, but people had air conditions and DSTV mats. It shows that prosperity is spreading around. This is not a matter of only, because once you start and you take the national grid, that is why we are hoping that by next year, we would have hit our SDG goal of 90% access rate in Ghana to make us universally access. We all hope we get there. But as you spread energy everywhere, you increase productivity everywhere, and people become richer. They can even sell lotto. They can do everything digitally now in as rural a place as well as it comes. So we've been adding generation systematically since we came into office from 2017, and the chart will show what we are trying to do across the country. In the area of power, transmission, we realized that we spoke, and that was one of the first places I visited as an energy minister. Our congested network, some of them were 1950s and 40s and 60s, and there's a huge program to improve and consolidate and stabilize our grid systems. Because if you can generate as much as you want, if you cannot wheel it across where it is needed efficiently and reliably, you get the problem. And we're getting more problems because we're producing much and we're not wheeling at least efficiently across the country. Our grid was very, very unstable. And because we are on a system such that when one side trips, you get a blackout in the country. Now we are facing a double whammy. Now we have put everybody on gas. As soon as the gas inlets shut, then all the power systems that we have, or generation systems, go off. So that is why.
We're still live on Joy News Desk. You heard the Energy Minister Matthew Opoku-Prempeh trying to bring up to speed where we are with energy production. For him, we need to sustain our power supply, but also we need to generate funds to be able to deal with some of the challenges. We'll take a break.